Welcome to the mobile app development and design tutorial. My name is Merle Whitney. Today, we will be looking at inserting controls, configuring controls, and moving controls. We will also take a look at row and column layout and responsive design layout. We're going to begin by clicking on Start with App Designer. We're going to give the project a name, and we're going to call the project Design, and we will click on Create. No thanks, because we don't want to take a quick tour. You're going to be presented with a couple of frameworks. We have the App Framework, the Bootstrap Framework, jQuery, and Topcoat. For this session, we're going to be using Bootstrap. So we click on Bootstrap and select. You're going to be presented with a number of controls on the left-hand side, the working area in the middle, and the right-hand side is the property area. The very first thing that we want to do is we want to take an input box and we're going to drag that input box out on the screen. Notice how the work area turns purple when we drag the input box to the screen. Then click on the input box and then look to the right hand side. You're going to see a number of properties for the input box. Let's look at these properties. The first one we want to look at is placeholder. A placeholder is simply telling the user what to type in the box. And since we'll be using this box as a surname box, we're going to type surname for the placeholder. Then we go up to the label, and we also want to put surname as the label. So we take out name that's there, and we put surname as the label. For the label position, the default position is inline, meaning that the label is to the left-hand side of the box. We can try top left. We see that the label goes to the top. We can also try top right, and we see the label switched over to the right. Let's put it back to inline for this session. Text. Let's look at the text property. We have different types of text properties. For example, if we were going to type date, you would click on date for the type of text, and you can see the change there. Date time local, also see that change. And you also have email, month, number, password, search, telephone, time, URL, and week. For our session here, we want to choose text. You also have the size of the box in your properties, and the default size is what you can see here. You click on small, you see that the size of the box changes. If you click on large, you also see a change in the size of the box. For our session, we're going to put it back to default. So here we have surname, label position, type, size. And we're going to talk a little bit later on about the value and the ID. We want to go back to the control section. And we're going to drag out the Go button. Now there are two Go buttons here. One is a Go button drop down and the other is a Go button. The one that we want to drag out is the Go button. And we're going to drag that out. And we're going to place it right on the surname input box. If you look on the right hand side, you're going to see that you have all the properties for the button. Here you have text, and if we want to change the text of that button, we can probably put go as a text. Again, we can change the default size from large, small, extra small. And we can also put an icon. If you click on the icon select box there, then you click down arrow next to none, you will see that you have several icons that you can choose from. So let's choose the right arrow. We see the right arrow jumped in there. We can also change the position of the icon. If you click the down arrow by icon position, you can see that you can change it to right, you can change it to top, you can change it to bottom, or you can say icon only. For this session, we're going to leave it to the left-hand side. It's also possible to move about your controls. For example, we can take the surname control and we can drag it down below the go button. Or we can take the go button and we can drag it so that it is above the surname button. We want to look at row and column layout. Now we're back onto the control, and what we want to do is to drag a column from the layout section. Layout section, see we have footer, header, column, row, and pop-up. So we're going to drag the column out, and we're going to take the column to the right hand side. And you can see me drag it, you see the lights up right at the edge. And there you go. You have another column, which pushes the first column that we had to the left hand side. Now we want to take a button group and drag that button group into the new column. So here we have button group. We're going to hold on to it and we're going to drag it into the column on the right hand side. Then we want to go to the property box to the far right, and we want to click in the checkbox called vertical group. Notice the difference. That vertical group checkbox caused the buttons to be displayed vertically. Now when we brought in the column, the page automatically divided into 50-50 columns. We can change that by placing the cursor on the bar in the middle and dragging it this way to the right, and you can see that the button section here is much smaller. Pull it back and drag it to the left, and we can see that the input box is much smaller. When we're dragging, you will notice that the numbers always add up to 12. That is because this is a 12 grid CSS system, which means that the total width of the column always adds up to a multiple of 12. So now I have a button group on the right and I have my controls on the left. Let's drag out another column and put it in the center. And we want to widen our workspace for this. Notice that on the left hand side, we can collapse the control box by clicking on the button here. And we can also collapse the property box, which allows us to hold and pull the working area so that it stretches a bit out. Okay, So we're going to take another column and we're going to insert that other column in the middle. So we hold on to the column and we're taking it right here in the middle section. And now we can see that we have 3 columns. To delete the column in the middle, make sure that it's selected. And then we want to look at the breadcrumb bar. And we're going to look for the delete button and click on delete. And that middle column will disappear. We need now to make a new page. So we're going to click on pages. And we see new page here. Click on new page. You have a chance to put what you want the idea of the page to be, or you can leave it at the default name. We're going to leave the new page at the default name and just click on OK. So we now have a new page. We're going to drag out 3 columns to the workspace. One column, second column, and a third column. We're going to place an input button from the form section in the first column to the right. So we drag the input box and we're going to place it in the first column to the right. We're going to place a drop down button in the middle column. So we're going to look for our buttons, and this time we're going to pick the drop down button and we're going to put it in the middle column. So now we have information in 2 columns, one to the far right and one in the middle. We want 2 go buttons in the third column, one under each other. We go for the go button here, place the first one, and a second one right under the first one. Now I want you to look at the breadcrumb bar where we had the delete button before. And we're going to search for the viewpoint button. And if we click on viewpoint, we see that we have a selection of phone, tablet, and tablet. So let's click on phone. That gives us a viewpoint for the phone. Tablet, that's the viewpoint for the tablet. And notice that they have different measurements here. And the tablet itself. Let's just collapse the control box so we can see the dimensions of the tablet. Click back on the viewpoint and phone, and you see the dimensions of the phone are quite different from the dimensions of the tablet. Now we are back into the phone view, and we want to look at adaptive design in the phone view. What we call responsive design now comes into play. We're going to be using what is called wrap points. Now, if I were to hold the left-hand side of this work area and pull it to the left, you're going to notice something happening. The boxes are cut off. See, they don't drop down. As they come in, you can't see the words anymore. They are cut off. We want to prevent this, meaning that we want to design so that our design is going to be adaptive to a phone, to a tablet. And so we're going to show you how you can do responsive design. We're going to be using what we call wrap points. And there are two methods you can use to create a wrap point. You can click on the plus sign right here to the left of the work area, or you can just click on the wrap bar where you see my cursor is at the position where you want the wrap point to be. Now we're going to click on the bar a little beyond the middle column. So let's say we click right here, and you can actually see a point. Now let's try something. We're going to hold the handle for the right area, work area, and pull to the left until we pass the wrap point. Let's try that. There you see. The data is not cut off. It simply drops down the screen. Let's do that again. Pull it out. If you remember, the last time we pulled to the left, the data was cropped off. Pull it to the left again. The data will simply drop down the screen. It will not be cut off. That is our lesson for today.